Pokémon Go is a mobile game that rewards players for catching Pokémon in various parts of the world. There are some Pokémon that are exclusive to certain territories, and therefore players are encouraged to travel to these places and connect with other players in order to obtain every Pokémon in form for 100% completion. One such Pokémon that capitalizes on the world map is Vivillon, who possesses multiple forms that vary based on where in the world it is located. In Pokémon Go, whenever players visit specific unique areas, or Pokestops, they can spin them and obtain postcards. The geography of each Pokestop will determine which Vivillon form is generated, and collecting enough postcards and Pokestops in one area will grant the player access to catching that form of Vivillon. And we can use this official map for reference. For example, players that collect enough postcards from the west coast of America will encounter the High Plains form of Vivillon, while players on the east coast of America will encounter the modern form of Vivillon, and players in Japan can encounter the elegant or tundra forms depending on how north or south they're geographically located within the country. With all this in mind, you don't have to personally visit any of these areas on the map to get their postcards. Alternatively, you can just add friends that have visited these locations and have them send the postcards to you once a day. By adding enough players as friends and sending enough postcards to one another, I was successfully able to obtain all of the available Vivillon forms in Pokemon Go. But in the process, I was curious. After examining the map, I noticed that Antarctica wasn't marked on here. It's a territory like any other place on the planet, and it has Pokestops, so they have to count as something, right? But what would they count as? I had two theories. Theory one was that it may be based on which country owns the territory that contains the Pokestop, as Antarctica is owned by multiple different countries. Therefore, if a Pokestop's postcard is obtained in a portion that's owned by, say, Australia, then it may count as an Australian postcard and therefore generate a river or sun Vivillon. Theory two is that an Antarctican postcard may just count as null, which happens from time to time with Pokestops that are created for limited time events. Either way, I was much too curious and had to determine the answer. So I reached out to some researchers in Antarctica, and a few days later, they got me in contact with Antarctican researcher and influencer Matty Jordan. After coordinating with one another, we were able to add each other as friends and send each other some postcards. I sent him some postcards from Super Nintendo World Hollywood, and he sent me two different ones from Antarctica. I saved and pinned the postcards in Pokemon Go, and to verify which Vivillon form was counted, I further transferred them to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on my Nintendo Switch, as postcards can also cause specific Vivillon forms to spawn in that game too. Sure enough, the Vivillon form that spawned was the Icy Snow variant. Geographically, I suppose that would make the most sense, but upon examining the Pokemon Go Vivillon map again, I'd like to once again reiterate that Antarctica isn't shown at all on this map, and Icy Snow is only shown to spawn in northern territories of the planet, with the closest thing to Antarctica being the polar form shown at the bottom point of South America. So maybe this map should be updated to include Icy Snow on the southernmost point. Even so, it's nice to finally have an answer, and I was only able to do so thanks to the contribution of Matty Jordan. If you want to learn more about Antarctica, please check out his content. And I guess neither of my theories wound up being correct. I was wrong, but hey, I think this is the best outcome. So hey, if you're trying to obtain an Icy Snow Vivillon, try going to Antarctica, or just add someone from there like I did.